Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So on this tutorial, I'm teaching you guys how to make this simple detachable keyhole yoke blouse with puffy sleeves. So this is the fabric we'll be working with. I made use of 1 yard and a quarter for mine because of the puffy sleeves, but I'll draft out on my pattern paper first for more clarity and accuracy of measurements. So I have my scissors, my tape roll, and my marker. So let's go ahead to draft. So go ahead to fold your paper into two this way. So I folded mine using the biggest part of my upper body, which is my bust measurements divided by 4. So that's 10.5 inches, and I added 2 extra inches to it for seam allowance. So I have about 12.5 inches on fold. And then for the length of my top, I'm making use of 13 inches, and I'll add half an inch to it to turn over my lining at the lower part. So I'll just go ahead to mark the 13.5 inches here. So the first thing to do is to draw out a starting line at the top of your paper this way. So this line is going to be your shoulder line where you'll be taking all the vertical measurements from. So you see I have my 13.5 inches for the full length of my top from the shoulder line. So the next thing is to mark the shoulder to the bust point. So mark your shoulder to your bust point. For me is 10 inches. And then I'll go ahead to extend the line. So come over to the closed angle of your paper to mark your shoulder to shoulder measurements divided by 2. So for me, I have 8 inches. And then from that point, come down by your round armhole measurements divided by 2. For me, it's 9 inches. Then I'll connect the 2 points together and further extend the line. So this is what we have. So the next thing is to mark the neckline. So the wideness of the neckline I worked with is 3.5 inches. And then the depth of the front panel is 3 inches because I want it to be high. And then I would connect the 2 points using my curved ruler. And then I'll take the shoulder slope, which is 1 inch from this line, and then connect it to meet the neck width, the neckline width this way. So the next thing to do is to form the armhole curve. So come over to this line and take the midpoint, which is 4 inches for me, and then come in by 0.5 inches. Then on this new line you just drew, mark your round bust measurements divided by 4 and add 1 inch to it for seam allowance, or 1.5 inches for seam allowance. So I'll just take my curved ruler now and then connect it this way to form my armhole curve. So this is what you have. So I'll mark that same 11.5 inches on my bust point. So mark your round bust measurement divided by 4 plus your sewing allowance on the bust line, and then draw it all the way down this way. So after that, come over to this lower part. So depending on what you took out for your seam allowance, just mark it out there. So for mine, I used 1.5 inches. So I'm going to just mark 2 inches to avoid any kind of gaping, so that that place will be very firm on the sides. So I took 2 inches from the line, and then from the neckline, I'm going to come down by 3 inches. So you can decide to take 2 inches if you want the fabric on that chest line very thin. So go ahead to just form an arc down to meet this other point this way to form the keyhole effect. So this is basically all for the front panel of this keyhole blouse. So I'll take in half an inch at the upper part for turning my lining and half an inch at the lower part also. So let's go ahead now to cut it out. So I'll be using the same pattern to cut out my back panel. So I won't cut out the armhole point completely. So as you can see, and then I'll leave the keyhole area this way. So the difference is going to be in the armhole, and then the neckline of the back panel is going to be higher, and then the zipper allowance in front. So let me show you guys how to do that. So I've placed the pattern paper on the fabric, and as you can see my fabric is in a fold of 2. So the 1.5 inches there is for my zipper allowance. So I'm going to adjust the neckline now before we cut it out. So I added half an inch to the shoulder area also for joining allowance. So I'll take 1.5 inches for the depth of the back panel neckline, and then just connect it this way. So let's go ahead now to cut it out. So add half an inch to the shoulders for joining allowance, then cut it out. So I'll split the zipper area opened. So I'll just go ahead to split it open so that I'll be able to attach our zipper there. So after removing the pattern paper, this is what it looks like. So let's go ahead to modify the pattern now. So I'll go ahead to trim out the armhole area and also cut out the keyhole part. So after cutting out, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to use this pattern to cut out my front panel. I'll also cut out the lining pieces as well. So when I'm done doing that, I'll show you guys what it. So after using the pattern to cut out the front panel, this is what it looks like. So I've also cut out the lining pieces just like I said earlier. So I'll go ahead to remove the pattern from it. So if you're working with a less stable fabric, you can go ahead to iron stay on the wrong side of your fabric just to give it a bit of weight before you turn over with your lining. So after removing the pattern, this is what we have. Let me go ahead now to open it up. So after opening up, this is what we have. These are the back panels and the linings. So the next thing to do is to turn over with the lining. So I'll place the front panel this way, and then I'll place the lining on it, right sides facing each other. I'll place them right sides facing each other. And then I'll go ahead to close up the neckline using 1/2 inch. So it all the way down. I'll close up the keyhole area and also close up the sides. Then I'll leave the armhole areas open for turning over. I'll notch it before I turn it over. And then for the back panels, I'll also do the same thing. I'll place the lining right sides facing each other this way. And then I'll close up the neckline area, close up the lower part, close up the sides, and leave the armhole area open for turning over. I'll also close up the zipper allowance. So when I'm done doing that, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after stitching down the lining, this is what we have. So I'll go ahead now to notch the neckline area before I turn it over. So just notch the neckline. So do it carefully so that you won't get to the seam area. Just go ahead to notch it all the way around. This is going to help your lining relax very well when you turn over. So I'll go ahead now to flip it over to the right side. And this is what we have even before ironing. See how neat it came out. So I'll do the same thing for the back panel and show you guys what it looks like. So after turning over with the lining, this is what it looks like. So you can see how neat it came out. So I'll go ahead to iron it. And after ironing, I'm going to join the front and the back panels together. So I'll start with the shoulder area, place them right sides facing each other, and then to get a neat shoulder finishing, match the fabric to the fabric and also match the lining to the lining, just as you can see me doing in the video. So this is going to give you a very neat shoulder finishing, and then stitch it using 1/2 inch all the way down, fabric to fabric, lining to lining, and stitch it all the way down. And then go ahead to close up the sides after doing that using your seam allowance. So I'll close it up on the sides, and then when I'm done, I'll put the other one this way. Now, just like I said, fabric to fabric and lining to lining, and stitch it all the way down using your 1/2 inch shoulder joining allowance. And then when you are done, join the sides together this way and stitch it down using your seam allowance. So when I'm done doing that, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after closing up the shoulders and joining the side, this is what it looks like. So this is what the shoulder looks like on the inside. You can see how neat it came out using that method. So the next thing I want to do now is to cut out the sleeve. So for the sleeve, I have my fabric cut out already and I have two pieces of it. They are both in a fold of two, as you can see. So the wideness of fabric I folded was my round armhole measurement divided by 2, and I added 7 extra inches to it for the puffy effect. So I have about 17 inches here. And so I want the length of my sleeve to be 15 inches, and I added 2 extra inches to it for folding at the base from my elastic casing, making 17 inches. So the first thing you want to do is to remove the excess you added for the puff effect. So I added 7 inches, and from the closed angle of my fabric, I'm going to take that 7 inches, and then I'll just mark it all the way down. So I'll be working with the remaining part of the fabric for my sleeve. So depending on how full you want your sleeve to be, you can add 10 extra inches to yours. So the next thing I'm going to do is to come down to this point and come down by my cap's height, which is my round bust measurement divided by 12 plus 1/2 inch. That is 4 inches for me. Then I'll just extend the line this way. So I'll go ahead now to just um, form a curve. Since the fabric left is my round armhole measurements divided by 2 plus 1 inch for seam allowance, so I'll go ahead to just form a curve this way all the way down. Just a simple curve this way for my sleeve. This is basically all for the sleeve. This is all we're going to be doing for the sleeve. So I'll go ahead now to cut this out and then I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So let's go ahead to cut out the sleeve. So after cutting out, let's go ahead now to open up. So this is what the sleeve looks like after opening up. So you can see how wide it looks. So the next thing to do is to attach the sleeve to the dress. So go ahead to measure what you have on the round armhole of your top. Just go ahead to measure what you have all around it. So I have about 21 inches here. As you can see, 21 inches all around the armhole area. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and gather this upper part of my sleeve till I have about 21 inches there. So I'll gather it all around to form 21 inches. And then for the lower part, I'm going to fold it in twice. I'll fold it in twice for my elastic casing because we'll be having elastic at the lower part of the sleeve. So I'll do the same thing for the other sleeve and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after I gathered the fabric, this is what it looks like. And I also folded in the lower part twice, just like I said. So I've also finished up for one sleeve and this is what it looks like. This was how it came out. So you can see how beautiful it looks. So I'll show you guys how to do for the other sleeve. So I have my elastic band cut out. So I took my round arm measurements and I subtracted about 2 inches for it for the elastic band. So right now, just take my pin and pass in the elastic band through my elastic casing this way. So pass it in till you come out at the other side of the opening. So after passing the elastic band through the elastic casing, this is what we have. So I'll go ahead now to stitch it down on this side and also stitch it down on the other side before I remove my pin. And when I'm done doing that, I'll measure them this way, right sides facing each other. And then I'll close up the sleeve using my 1 inch seam allowance. I'll close it all the way down. So when I'm done doing that, I'll show you guys how to attach the sleeve to the dress. So after passing in the elastic and closing off the sleeve, this is what it looks like. So let's go ahead to attach it to the top. So pass it in through the armhole this way and make sure the right sides are facing each other. So fit in your sleeve into the armhole this way and then match the point where you join the sleeve to the point where you join the sides of your top and then stitch it all the way around. So fit it in carefully. You can also use your pins to hold it down before you sew it. So you can see that the sleeve fits in perfectly into the armhole. So go ahead to stitch it all the way around it. Stitch it down using 1/2 inch, and then when I'm done doing that, I will show you guys what it looks like. So after sewing down the sleeve, this is what it looks like. So you can see how beautiful it came out. So the next and final thing we want to do is to insert the zipper at the back. So to attach the zipper, go ahead to just place your zipper on it this way, just as you can see me doing. So using your 1 inch zipper allowance or 1.5 inch, depending on what you took out for yours, and then place the zipper at the base of your top this way and stitch it all the way down. Stitch it very close to the zipper teeth so that you won't have any fabric showing from your zipper. And then when you're done with that side, flip it over to the other side this way and stitch it down. So making sure the part of the zipper that has fabric is towards the open angle of your fabric and stitch it down this way, then fold in the upper part. So when I'm done doing that, I'll show you guys the finished product. So after inserting the zipper at the back, this is what it looks like. So you can see how neat it came out, and this is what the front looks like. So this is all we're ending this video for today, guys. I hope you found it useful and I hope you're going to be trying this out. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, share with your loved ones, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.